guys, what's up? Ruslan's here.
Hello. How's it going?
This is where you can see the chat and you can see yourself there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's more accurately where it is.
Oh my god, look at me.
Isn't that crazy? So
that's pretty funny.
um
Hey everyone. How you guys doing? This is wow, this is really interesting. I could get into this. This is really cool. Seeing my bald head from this angle is very sexy.
Right?
Makes me want to talk about music. Hey everybody. So I'm not really familiar so much with sort of the general sort of oh, I think we're off.
No, it's oh, it's a bad connection. It's okay. It'll just every once in a while.
I'm not really familiar with what with the crowd and what you guys want to talk about, but there's something I prepared that I wanted to talk about. That's always really interesting and cool.
It's okay. That's just my. It's still live streaming.
It's still live streaming. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's something I figured we'll talk about that I always find interesting. So a quick sort of context. In my 20s, I started playing a lot of gospel music, right? And I started hanging out with a bunch of musicians who played these beautiful chords that I really, really liked a lot. And I was like, what the hell are they doing? I don't know if you guys are familiar with any like gospel music, but these guys have like, when they play chords, it sounds like it's 20 fingers. Like they're super thick, like really thick, pretty chords. And I'm like, it doesn't really sound like jazz, so what the hell are they doing? And I tried to figure out what they're doing. And, I started playing a lot of that kind of music. And, well, it turns out there's, a lot that they're doing. And, but one of the things, exactly, fat chords, that's it. So I was trying to understand, well, how the hell are they getting the sound? I was coming from, like, a traditional jazz sort of harmony and, like, proper voice leading, which they also do. But there was other things going on. Almost like more of a vertical kind of approach to harmony, and I was like, well, what the hell, what are they doing? So I decided to sort of, wrap my head around it. One of the things I want to talk to you guys about, today, is one of the things I see them do a lot. A lot of times when they'll play a melody, they'll decide on the top note, right, is the melody, and they decide that top note is going to dictate the rest of the chords. Right? So what do I mean by that? Let's take like a stupid little melody that anybody understands, like, right? So I bring this simple melody as an example because it's going to be easy to talk about and show you what I mean. So a lot of times they'll choose a shape, right? I see like you choose a shape and you decide that this is going to be my shape, right? 1, 3, 5 major. I'm going to start simple and get more and more and more and more complex. Like, okay, so I'm going to keep the same shape and move it with the melody, right? And decide that the melody is always going to be the 5th of the chord, right? Okay. I'm just starting really silly and slow just to show you the principle, and then you'll see where this goes from here. Mm-hmm. So I'm deciding that the melody is always going to be the 5th. So G is a 5th to what? C. Right. Next melody note is A. What is this a 5th to? D. So what is this a 5th to? F. What is this a 5th to? E. Right, so pretty stupid, right? Okay. So what if we decide that the melody note is always going to be a minor 9? Or whatever, 7. Right? And this is how they... Okay, so what is this a 7 to? Minor 7 to? A. So... Right.
Interesting. That's really good.
Right?
So it's just chromatically blending the chords.
You gotta get the chord. The good news about this is that by the time you're done, you get that shape in every possible place on the piano because you have to move. Then you can play something as silly as this, right? just minor 7. What if it's a major 7? Right? All of a sudden, you're kind of starting to come up with that sound a little bit. I know it's really dry and mathematical, and you still need feel and like good taste. But okay, so what if it's a minor 11?
Disregarding the harmonic
correct
tendency.
A lot of the gospel stuff is yes. A lot of times when they'll play, it will be amazingly voice led and like really beautifully voice led because they come from a choir thing with alto, soprano, like tenor, bass. So they have a good concept of voice leading. But a lot of the stuff they do is still going to be not that. It's going to be this. A lot of vertical kind of. Why do I say vertical? Because it's not like things are moving like this, they're moving clusters, right? So okay, so we can start, so that's the 7. 9, minor 9. Right? Okay, what else? What other notes could this be? Give me another one.
Okay, 13.
13, it's okay. Right, I think that's 13, right? Yeah, flat back. So another thing it could be, so okay, now we've decided on this. The cool thing about it is you get those shapes under control on your fingers. Then you can decide the first one's going to be 7, then 9, 7, 9, 7, 9, 7, 9. Alternate. 7, 9, 7, 9, 7. Okay. 7, 9, major 7. Right, so when you say 9, it could be major 9 or minor 9. You also have to decide that.
Yeah.
So why is this good? I don't think this on a gig, right? But I will sit and play Donna Lee like that. The melody to Donna Lee. Like...
Interesting.
And now let's start switching up. 7 or whatever. It's a lot of work. So... like everything, this kind of stuff will expand sort of. Then when you sit on a gig and you had a drink, your fingers just start playing different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
Do this for 2 weeks and challenge yourself. Start slow and see how you start. You know, sort of playing. So what like other melody we could think about? What's like a jazz melody that everybody knows?
Autumn Leaves.
Right. So major. Right.
What were you doing there though? Because you did like a sort of 2-5-1.
Right. So what will happen now that I'm kind of having my fun with it? So I'll play if I'm landing on an E, I'm just taking a creative liberty and say, well, if I'm landing on an E, I'm going to reinforce it with a 5 chord.
Okay.
So like
I see.
right,
So
why
like
not?
give it
Because why not?
tonality.
Yeah, give it like exact for a second,
Yeah.
exactly. So what if we do major 7, major 9, major 7, major 9. So major 7, major 9, major 7, major 9.
Okay.
Major 7. Major 9.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking hip.
It's very interesting.
Right. If you play it with the right feel, and it's pretty mathematical,
yeah.
Sure, but whatever. Use your discretion, use your talent, use your taste, use your preference, make emotional decisions about the options. But this gives you a whole bunch of options, man.
Yeah, well, and you were thickening it up with a lot of chords.
Right, and I think someone like when you play these kinds of really wide voicings, how do you decide on what the left hand and right hand is doing? Is there a formula? for, let's say, D minor 13, or is there just experience and preferences? I think there's both. Jazz a million about preferences. Could you play one? Could you put 1 and 7 in the bass? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, of course. Well, there is a formula, and then there is, of course, preferences, right? Like I have a lot of chord shapes under my fingers, right? The general idea is to try to not double anything, not to have like not to have notes that don't need necessarily to be there. You want every note to be meaningful. Mm-hmm. With that said, a lot of the gospel guys double everything just to make stuff thicker, and it's technically improper, but it does give you a certain experience of how the chord rings that you don't get when you're on the leaner side. Like that's something. Here's how I would voice it, right? Right? Like a church guy might voice it like everything is in there, like. It's just like a thick. So okay, so that's like the shape. Right? This could be E flat over C, or it could be F minor. I also how I decide on the voicings. I think Elot Money Ali asked how I decide. I figure out cool voicings that I see people do and that I find, and then I do this. I put them through this pipeline of work. Like if there's a voicing I like, there's a Russell Ferrante voicing that I really like. Right. So if I want to, okay, so I like the voicing. Now, the way I'm going to make sure I use it all the time, as if I need to use it any more than I already do, probably, my apologies, Russ, if you're watching this. I stole so much more than this from your playing. So I'll go and I'll practice it. Not particularly musical. Unless you really like this voicing the way I do.
But it gets it under your fingers.
Right, it gets it under your fingers. And this is what's important to understand about practicing too. Is imagine practicing and playing like two circles. I wish I had a picture to show here. Mm-hmm. Right? There's your practicing. That's a circle, right? You're practicing here. And there's your playing. You're playing here. And between the two, there's vacuum. They're sort of not really bleeding so much necessarily into each other. You practice what you practice, what you want to improve it. And then you don't really notice how and when it bleeds into your playing. In sometimes very surprising ways. You could be practicing something and it's going to appear in your playing in a very surprising way. I remember practicing a voicing one time, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I forgot what voicing it was. And I was like, well, when I play gigs, I don't really use that voicing still. Maybe I should ingrain it a little more. Maybe I should sit on it a little more. But two things happened. I all of a sudden started in my linear playing outlining the shape of that voicing as I'm playing with my right hand.
Interesting.
Which I didn't see coming. I didn't think that this is how it's going to affect my playing. Mm-hmm. And I'll demonstrate what I meant. Say I was practicing this voicing, right? For example. Just random, right? All of a sudden, in my soloing, while I don't really play this voicing on the gig, in my soloing I play a lot of... I'm like, wow! This is how the voicing that I was practicing found its way into my playing. Seriously? I had no... So you never know how what you're sort of practicing is going to affect your playing. Another thing that it does is that unties the knots of muscle memory. That's what I call it. All of us struggle with muscle memory all the time. Greg, I have sort of habits of playing. Your bag of tricks that you go to all the time that bores all of us. I'm very bored with what I'm always playing. Extremely bored. So another thing that these kind of practicing does is it introduces new patterns into what is muscle memory? It's neural pathways in your brain. So when you're practicing new stuff like this, you're sort of shaking the foundation of all that crap you're used to playing all the time. and you're untying those knots, giving your fingers an opportunity to play something new, to surprise yourself, and then, you know, to surprise the listener, because when you're surprised with your own playing, when you're exploring, the listener is always going to be on that same page with you. So let me see what they're saying here. I see. So I guess it's just a lot of exploration, learning, borrowing chords from the masters, and it becomes preference or intuition. Yes, the intuition and preference is how you choose the tools, right? The bag of tools is one thing. Then how you choose the tools from the bag, from the toolbox, that's a spiritual process. That's an emotional process. I know I could play this C major, or I could play this C major, or this C major. It's going to be an emotional, spiritual decision, which I'm going to use at this point, which I'm going to use at that point, or maybe it's this kind of song, so I should never use this. Only that. That's going to be a spiritual decision and an emotional decision. But being able to play this and everything, right? Or whatever. What is this? That's just a toolbox. That you just have to sit on your ass until you're blue in the face. And really, 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 really get all of it together. As much of it as possible. And then, yes, and then your talent, your mind sort of starts kicking in and tell you, well, I think now we should use that one. No, I think the pre-chorus is coming. Yeah, use this one. And it happens very fast in your mind. It's not like you have these conversations with yourself. You just have a feel and intuition. Yeah, I think that one's next. And then, so let's see what else. You find cool voicing everywhere, also on YouTube. Yeah, actually on YouTube there's a lot of that kind of stuff. If you want to practice it so you can play it in all keys, absolutely. And a good way of practicing that voicing in all keys is what I sort of suggested, is like, right, so if I like this voicing, let's see. So this is this 3 and this 4 or 5 1. Melody is always a 3. See, that's like not a properly voiced chord, because like I'm doubling the 3rd, but it's a melody note, and you can even in classical music double the melody note. So I'm kind of forgiving myself for that. So that's a cool way of getting those voicings under your fingers. So yeah, let's do one more before we wrap it up.
Cool.
Let's decide we're gonna do. Why do I choose these stupid melodies? Because they're simple and they don't take. You know, you can focus on the subject matter, which is so. Let's run everything again. So major 7. Okay, so major 7, major 9. I know it's going. What did I do there?
Yeah.
Major 9, right? I know the next chord is this. So I'll do a 5 for it.
Oh, that was the 5. Okay.
Because I know it's going to this one. And if we're going this one, I might as well make it a little pretty, because I'm sick of this parallel motion. My ears telling me, do something else, it's ugly. So I got all of it. So, minor 9. And you don't want to cut these corners. You want every one of the voicings to be exactly the same. If you're not comfortable playing it, don't skip like a note, because it's more comfortable. Don't change the voicing. Keep the voicing. Sharp 11. I played an approach chord to it. So let's do this. Let's do minor 9, minor 7. Minor 9, minor 7. What does it mean? The first note is going to be a minor 9 of some chord. The next note is going to be a minor 7 of some chord. Right? So what is this a minor 9 of?
The F.
What is this a minor 7 of?
F sharp.
So
Yeah.
What is this a minor 9 of?
D. It's a,
Right, B flat.
sorry, B flat.
What is a minor 7 of?
F sharp.
Minor 9. Minor 7. Minor 9. Minor 7. 7. Right? So let's do minor 9, major 7.
Okay.
Minor 9, major 7. Minor 9, major 7. Minor 9, major 7. That's awesome.
Twist your brain.
That's great. Like, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. So so what? I came to it through mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. It's beautiful. So that's awesome. Like, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So my mind is now automatically making notes, in my own head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, this is cool. And my subconsciousness says, yeah, we should use this. How did this work? What happens here? And this is all of your minds are doing the same thing because we're all programmed for learning. If you weren't, you wouldn't be watching this.
Mm-hmm.
So minor 9.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. And then also the flip side of this exercise is being able to take one note and run it through every possible tension. Major 7, sharp 11, minor 11, minor 9, flat 9, major 9, major 7, minor 7. Does this sound like a bunch of music you listen to in the car? Sure, sounds like a bunch of music I listen to in the car.
Totally. Name any number of current artists.
Yeah.
That's the sound. Quite interesting.
Right? Cool, right? It's not kind of cheating because it's a little bit vertical. It's kind of like a sample. You're pressing a button of a sample. You're just like throwing this thick voicing on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it reminds you of Robert Glasper. Absolutely. Glasper is the king of this stuff. He's got all of that under his fingers. Exactly. What's happening here? It's sustaining the same note and it changes its property. Now it's a minor third. Now it's a sharp 11 to something. What is this a minor third to? Well, another thing to remember is this. Like if I ask Greg, what is this a minor third to? E minor. So okay. What is this a minor 9 to?
F.
Right. So if I play it like this, it's not going to sound good. You actually have to have awesome minor 9 voicings to go to. And if the next is major 7, you have to have a dope like major 7 voicing to go to. Because the bare principle only works if when you say it's going to be a minor 11, you have a really pretty minor 11 voicing, right? So like if it's a minor 11, it's this or this. And it's also how you play it. Like I won't play it like I'll play it like pretty. So just this by itself, you also kind of need to know if this is a major 7. So yeah, play it a certain way. Minor 7, sharp 11. So yeah, you guys, I hope this helps.
Do you want to maybe play a little something?
Yeah.
Then? Like just
Absolutely.
just whatever you feel like.
I'll try to play something that I use a lot of this kind of stuff. I'll play like since we were talking about gospel. I'll try to play something that I'm going to use, this kind of stuff.
Cool.
Well, it's been a while for me. This is like I did a lot of this stuff in my 20s, and now I kind of whatever I have left is what I'm going to offer you. Let's see. this more often. It's fun. You guys are starting to remember what kind of stuff I used to practice and what, you know. This is really good for me. I'm about to go home and practice all this stuff for real again.
I'm going to practice that stuff now too.
You know. Well, thanks so much for having me. This is so awesome.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Beautiful. Terrific. I hope you guys had fun and got a little bit of something out of this. And do I have my own YouTube channel? I do. We're going to post it in the description of the video or in the comments. My name is Ruslan Sirota, and you can look me up. I have a channel. You'll find different kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'll put all of Ruslan's info in the description of this video, so just come back and look at the video, which will be posted online shortly after this live stream stops. You can also have Skype lessons with Ruslan if you want. You can just either find him in the description I put up or message me, and I'll hook you guys up. And yeah, that's it. I would type it in now, but I'm actually logged in under a different account here, and it's not going to appear as the same. But anyway, it'll be in the description, or just message me if you want to get in touch with Ruslan.
Ruslan Piano on Twitter.
Yeah, or Ruslan Piano on Twitter. And Googling Ruslan Sirota will come up with the one and only. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Please spread this around and let us know if you want more things like this. And let us know how your practice goes when you start learning the material. Talk to you later.